Coming up in the latest action-packed instalment of the Eurogamer TV show, we brave rain-swept, miserable north of England to bring you exclusive behind-the-scenes footage of Evolution Studios, the team behind PlayStation 3's actually impressive launch title Motorstorm. And we've taken some time off in the last fortnight to rock, with Eurogamer's Ellie Gibson and myself taking to the stage for an intensely emotional night of Guitar Hero 2 axe wielding. Meanwhile, Ubisoft dispatched its own hirsute stinking team of roadies to Fuse 2006, where some actual proper rock bands performed alongside a fiercely competitive Xbox 360 gaming tournament. But first, with the November the 19th launch almost upon us, we're paying a very special visit to a top-secret location in central London, where we've been told people are getting so excited they're literally weeing in every room.
Welcome to the Wii House, Nintendo's template for successful modern living, realised in this stunning period townhouse in one of London's most sought-after locations. Decorated and designed to the most exacting standards, with wonderful character, this exclusive property boasts a state-of-the-art kitchen, 2 spacious reception rooms and 3 seductive sleeping areas with a fabulous master bedroom. With enough space to accommodate the most energetic daily routines, this irresistible residence is the perfect place for future-proof families. Viewing is essential.
Well, here we are inside the Wii House, and Nintendo's gone to great efforts and spent a huge amount of marketing money on trying to convince us that Wii is the ultimate lifestyle and mainstream entertainment system. The message seems to be that whoever you are in the family, whether son, daughter, mother, father, attractive Swedish au pair, then Wii is relevant to you.
Nintendo, as we've seen with the roaring, boundary-smashing success of DS, is all about growing the market these days, appealing to new audiences as well as traditional gamers. So, the company has created a series of themed rooms to show how Wii, in theory, seamlessly integrates with all aspects of modern urban living, which, on this evidence, is of the strictly affluent middle-class kind, as opposed to the eating-out-of-bins, dole-scrounging working-class variety. Anyway, that's quite enough of a guided tour around the Twilight Zone. Our primary reason for visiting the Wii House was, of course, to get hands-on with the final builds of Wii's wide-ranging launch lineup before Eurogamer's retail unit arrives. With frightening predictability, Eurogamer TV was stationed by Nintendo reps for our playtest in, yes, the girls' bedroom. Still, it was nice for our cameraman to come in through the door for a change, rather than the window. All the key early first-party titles are playable in the house, including Zelda, Wii Play and Excite Truck, plus major third-party offerings like Red Steel and Call of Duty. Here's an exclusive peek at them in action. So, is Wii the gaming revolution we all want it to be? If you want our full verdict, Eurogamer.net will be reviewing all of Wii's key titles in the coming days. But if you fancy making your own mind up ahead of the December the 8th European launch, we've teamed up with Nintendo to offer 2 lucky viewers the chance to spend a full day of unfettered gaming love in the Wii House, while you'll get to put your feet up, try out all the top titles, take away some cool Nintendo goodies, and even get some free tea and biscuits. To stand a chance of winning, simply answer the following question. What was the original name for Wii? Was it A. Revolution, B. Dolphin, or C. Sea Lion? Email your answer to compose@Eurogamer.net. The competition is only open to UK residents and you'll need to make your own way to London. Closing date is November the 24th. The winner will be chosen at random and the editor's decision is final. But now, after a quick visit to the real Wii room, it's time to turn our attentions back to the other big console launch this month, and one of its pivotal launch titles in the first part of our exclusive Access All Areas Motorstorm feature. Motorstorm is blessed, or cursed depending on your point of view, with being among the first wave of PlayStation 3 titles charged with supporting Sony's launch in Japan. The final US and European versions, with added online features, will arrive early next year. The game's journey from controversial pre-rendered trailer to fully realised next-gen racing beast has been a fascinating one. And by the skin of its teeth, UK developer Evolution Studios has confounded the critics and delivered a genuinely impressive showcase title for the next-gen system. We travelled up to glamorous Runcorn to visit the studio and see for ourselves how a developer best known for its niche World Rally Championship series suddenly found itself delivering a flagship product for the most important hardware launch in Sony's history. Take a walk around Evolution's offices and the first thing you notice is the hive of Motorstorm activity. Despite the Japanese release, there's no taking the foot off the gas here. The team is still flat out working on new vehicles, tracks and other currently top secret goodies that will be released as downloadable content next year. When conceptualizing the game, Evolution asked itself what could reignite the racing genre, and it decided to make off-road cool, with the notion that each race would simulate a Hollywood action script. In the design department, the walls are literally covered with reams of concept sketches and documents showing how the game has evolved over time. We're treated to an in-depth look at how each track is constructed from the ground up. A new level, we're told, can be made playable from scratch within a week. There's around 20,000 polygons per track, which compares with 25 to 30,000 per vehicle, but clever techniques allow the team to achieve results without crippling the PS3 hardware. Each track is designed to have a distinct personality, and the sheets on this wall use keywords to remind the team of the mood they're striving to create. The game is set in a single location, Arizona's Monument Valley, and the team captured 15 hours of high-definition footage at the site to use as source material for their digital recreation. Fundamental to the Motorstorm experience is AI, and intriguingly the game seeks to achieve its Hollywood script feel through an innovative system called gags. In a nutshell, gags are a vast array of possible events in the game, with probability and random chance determining where, when and if they occur. All of these events affect the behaviour of computer-controlled racers. Lead designer Nigel tells us more.
Without gags, their primary goal is to win the race. But we decided very, very early on when developing Motorstorm that the AI's primary goal wouldn't be win a race. It's one of its goals, but it's number 3. Its first goal is to entertain the player. Second goal is to challenge the player in some way, which that could be either by trying to knock you off the track or crashing in front of you in a spectacular way and creating an obstacle. And its third goal is to win the race.
Jed is described as the gags head honcho, and he talks us through how the system is implemented. This chart shows how different vehicle types are likely to react to each other during a race.
We've got gags set up that run animations on the different riders. So if you particularly piss somebody off, he might stick 2 fingers up at you or shake a fist or threaten you. There's gags set up as well to make them do things like take the ump with you. If you ram them, they'll come back and do everything to try and ram you off the track, just because some of that becomes their primary goal.
Finally, Nigel demos a race to us which displays technical data from the AI system over each vehicle. Each box here represents a gag.
And also, all these tiny little gags will all pad out in a slightly different way. For example, you may have a gag that causes a big rig to take out a biker, and the biker slams into a wall, crashes into a burning wreck, but then you may have another gag that there's another biker driving past, and that biker may have a gag that says, if I drive past a wreck, sort of wander past and point at him and laugh, sort of thing. So you get these kind of emergent patterns of things happening.
The action in Motorstorm is set against what the team calls a festival of racing. An impressive array of licensed music is included from artists like Nirvana, Kings of Leon and Slipknot. But to create a convincing festival atmosphere, the sound department has come up with a clever production technique it calls Li-Fi. Basically, this involves applying a number of effects to an original recording in real time to make it sound like it's being performed at an open-air concert. Think Glastonbury, without the blood and feces smeared portaloos.
In essence, what you get is the original. We then layered over a whole heap of DSP effects, reverbs, delays and filters and things like that. And it ends up sounding a bit more like this. So you really get like the whole "this is live" kind of feel while you're buzzing around on top of a Mesa.
Okay, so having seen and heard how Motorstorm has been put together, later in the show we'll be grilling the team about the bigger picture. Before that, for those of you about to rock, we salute you.
Well, here we are at the games industry's latest attempt at a gaming lifestyle event. For Fuse 2006, Ubisoft has hijacked Newbury Racecourse of all places and booked a bunch of aspiring rock bands who'll scream and shout about murdering babies and drinking virgin's blood and whatever else they do, while some of the UK's top gaming plans battle it out on 360's superb Tom Clancy of Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. And with the content tournament weighing in a hefty 6 hours in total, there's nothing short about this Fuse. God, who writes this rubbish?
It's hard not to be cynical when another attempt at building a consumer-friendly bridge between gaming and other entertainment media is announced. Most prove to be patronising flops after all. But Fuse, on this evidence, offers a refreshingly focused blueprint that certainly seemed to whip up into a frenzy those who bothered to make the journey west of London. But more on that later. The day alternated between knockout rounds of Graw and a rather deafening heavy metal battle of the bands. But for Ubisoft this was predominantly the battle of the brand, its super successful Tom Clancy range. Keen to impress upon us the gritty macho realism of the games, the French publisher enlisted the services of a bunch of unsettlingly hardcore real-life commandos for the day. And the battle-hardened unit were only too eager to enlist the services of fearless competition winners and a bloodthirsty Eurogamer TV.
So, to spice things up a little, and presumably to scare the living shit out of us puny gamers, team leader Dave Thatcher and a bunch of actual ex-SAS operatives are going to take us on a simulated hostage rescue mission to give us an admittedly heavily diluted flavour of what it's like to be a Special Forces operative.
After a detailed briefing, all of which was obviously immediately forgotten like the finely tuned fighting machines we are, it was time to tackle the, terrorists, who, we were told with not a little relish, were going to fire stuff at us that might hurt. Great. Well, if they ever bring back conscription and we're called upon to defend our nation, they'd be best off leaving us to wash pots in the canteen.
Let's go!
After this amusing interlude, we had a quick chat with one of the former commandos, and we were awfully polite, as we didn't want him to snap our neck like a twig or shoot us in the face or anything. He's got quite a history, you see.
We're all Marines for a little while, so the elite of the British forces, going into the elite of the game in the GRAW, it's sort of one to the other.
Porter also reckons video games can be ideal training tools for the military.
Definitely games as a training tool. It makes you start thinking outside the box. You start thinking on a broader spectrum, and with the intelligence of the enemy and the games getting better and better each time the new game gets made, you start having to think more and more about what you think they might do.
Both he and his colleagues certainly get a kick out of GRAW, and probably a punch, a strangle and a Chinese burn too.
Yeah, we regularly play GRAW. That seems to be the main one, purely for the simulation. It's so real, it's so much fun, and we like to kick ass.
No viewers, we wouldn't spill his pint either. The rockers and the clans tussled for the rest of the day. In the end, the primal screaming of PDHM deservedly won out in the Battle of the Bands, while Gaming Gang Maxis romped home to glory in the GRAW tournament. We grabbed them for a reaction seconds after this famous victory.
How's it feel, guys?
Amazing. That was a good match.
What does it mean to win the tournament?
It's unreal, man. It's the first thing we've ever won. We've been to a final before, we've never won, so this is the first. It's amazing.
And you're now £1,000 up. What are you going to do with the money?
We're splitting it. We had another team that got knocked out in Fuse, so the actual money is going to be split between 8 of us in total. So, and the PC, well, eBay, watch out.
Well done, lads. And with the prizes awarded and the lights turned low, ragga punk metal act Skindred, their mothers must be terribly proud, closed the event with a suitably raucous set. Overall, Fuse 2006 definitely worked as a format, sticking to hardcore gaming fans and hardcore music fans instead of the usual flawed jack-of-all-trades approach. Ubisoft will, however, have hoped to pull in a larger crowd, but their Newbury racecourse is never going to be the biggest draw on a Friday night. If they shift the venue to a major city and pimp it sufficiently, though, there's no reason why Fuse 2007 won't play to a packed house. And proof, if it were required, that this year's festival goers enjoyed themselves was provided by the frankly astonishing sight of a no-holds-barred mosh pit rampage during the final act. A mass outbreak of clench-fisted violence after an intense day of aggressive video games competition? Where's a Daily Mail reporter when you need one? Guitar Hero has become nothing short of a phenomenon since the original first shredded onto PS2 in late 2005, and quite right too, reigniting the rhythm action genre with what has to rank as one of the all-time great peripherals. It's instantly satisfying gameplay is video gaming at its most purely enjoyable.
The mullet-shakingly magnificent Guitar Hero 2 will be rocking across Europe from November the 24th. And to commemorate this pivotal moment in the history of rock and roll, guitar manufacturer Gibson is holding a secret gig tonight here in its London HQ. Hot new act Lunar Mile is performing, but the real headliners are the incredible new Eurogamer Supergroup, featuring myself and Ellie, the Axe Gibson. So, without further ado, for one night only, welcome Tango and Thrash.
Gaming demo pods are the Daily Mail readers of industry parties, tolerated but ignored by most normal, well-adjusted people. Or at least they would be if any such individuals actually worked in video games. Either way, Guitar Hero stands apart in its tight white digital jeans. It's a special case whose irresistible lure is strong enough to become the main event in its own right, rather than a shunned PR-pleasing sideshow. Fancy that. Here, at the spiritual home of the electric guitar, people were literally queuing up shamelessly to wield their mighty plastic axes on stage, supported on the night by a proper aspiring rock band. And if genetics has anything to do with it, Lunar Mile ought to be pretty damn good, with classic rock hardwired into their DNA.
Judas Priest, my old man's the bass player.
Yes, and my dad is totally Black Sabbath guitar player.
And does the game send them into shuddering spasms of delight like a 10-minute prog rock solo?
We just had a go at it just now, didn't we? And it's a lot of fun. It's not quite like playing guitar though. It's not exactly. Yeah, because I lost basically. Lost to the drummer.
Ripping through a 45-minute set, the plucky young upstarts did their best to stir the crowd's leather-clad loins. We guess being watched by your rockstar dad is a key motivator. Black Sabbath legend Tony Iommo sneaked in unannounced to catch the set and seemed pretty pleased with his daughter's onstage antics. Just a shame some of the more fawning, starstruck losers in the audience just wouldn't leave him alone. Oh wait, hang on. After some terribly serious button bashing, it was time for Tango and Thrash to take to the stage for what should have been our defining moment of rock glory. Sting's Message in a Bottle was the anthem of choice, but in a suicidal moment of epic cockiness, Expert Mode was selected for the lead part, and despite the dramatic rock posturing and slick foundation provided by Ellie on the bass, the song quickly spiraled from top of the charts to bottom of the bargain bin. Whoops. In truth, musical differences have been tearing Tango and Thrash apart long before that ill-fated night, where the fissures finally cracked into an unbridgeable creative gulf. And the smack-eyed mainline backstage probably didn't help either. Just kidding, it was only methadone. A dramatic public split followed, with Tango and Thrash hastily forming bitter rival bands for a final reputation-salvaging rock-off. Unfortunately, our cameraman kept his filthy lens away from the groupies just long enough to capture two swaggering performances of unashamed exuberance from Team Eurogamer. Or that's what it felt like after 6 bottles of Stella anyway. And now, back to Evolution for the final part of our exclusive Motorstorm feature. It's unlikely to have had the prescience to name its next project so appropriately in the beginning. But a storm is precisely what Evolution Studios whipped up when that trailer for flagship PS3 racer Motorstorm premiered during Sony's now infamous E3 2005 press conference. A year and a half have passed since the smoke and mirrors of PlayStation 3's unveiling, and at last all the PR bluster has been forced to make way for the system's launch. Gamers can at last make their own minds up about Motorstorm and the rest of the lineup. But how did this small independent developer based in Cheshire cope with the immense pressure created from the impact of that original footage?
It could have gone two ways. It could have really hurt us, or as hopefully it's proven, we've kind of justified ourselves and gone, yep, we're pretty much there, And I think you go back and look at that video. Okay, that video had the benefit of editing and kind of fancy camera work, but you kind of take the bits out. You look, okay, if that was in first person, bonnet cameras, stuff like that, we're pretty damn close. And in fact, I think in some instances, we've way exceeded what the original target video was. In a way, it's been good that it's been a millstone, because people are going, they can't do it, that's no way, they can't do that. And we're like, you want to bet?
It's kind of like, this whole thing of think big or go home. There's no point in being safe, because effectively safe's a dangerous thing to be in the games industry, It's what it's like with games. It's cutthroat. Everyone's trying to make the very, very best thing and be the best. And if you don't aim right from the outset to be the best, then you're sort of destined to be mediocre, and who wants mediocre?
But living up to these astonishingly high standards was far from the only challenge the team faced.
Not only did we have all the usual teething troubles associated with being a launch title and all the rest of it, but we had problems like, well, how do you design a stage to have 7 different classes of vehicle on it, all with advantages and disadvantages balanced, and effectively it ends up being a stage that's got like 8 stages layered over the top of it, but it's still got to be balanced. That was a really complicated problem to solve. The whole interaction between the vehicles, how do you keep a fair race that you can balance difficulty-wise? while all this is going on around you and people are crashing, you've got to avoid all that. It's not just racing against the environment, you're racing against all this chaos as well. You know, that wasn't an easy problem to solve.
What we've really strived to do from the very beginning with Motorstorm was make it a very, very different experience, a very, I know it's a cheesy word, but cinematic experience. We want the AI to entertain the player as well as race against them. We really strive to make sure that every moment of the game there's something going on screen that will either amuse you, challenge you, make you swear like a trooper, do many of the things and really, really kind of suck you into the whole experience of driving these vehicles through this terrain.
Japan might have the game already, but it's a strictly offline affair. By the time Motorstorm rolls into the US and Europe early next year, online play will be fully supported. But beyond that, Evolution has big plans to boost the shelf life of its next-gen racer with a ruck of downloadable content.
The whole sort of beyond-the-box strategy is something we're really embracing and really evangelising, really. We see it as a massive, massive thing. So we really want to make a lot of it. I mean, again, I'm afraid I can't say an awful lot about that, but it's something, like I say, we're really, really pushing and want to make an awful lot of, and we're really excited about the prospects of, you know, of the game changing post-release and adapting and becoming a much, much bigger thing.
PlayStation 3 gives us the ability for downloadable content, so you know, we're going to be providing more races, we're going to be providing more tracks, so once people have experienced the single-player game, by the time they've finished it, we'll have more out there to kind of test them even more or challenge them in different ways. We've got loads of ideas that, you know, how we want to expand the whole Motorstorm universe.
Lest we forget, Evolution's game has been packed onto one of Sony's fanboy-enraging Blu-ray discs. Well, here we have yet another developer convinced of the format's importance.
My view with something like Blu-ray, the key advantage for developers is you've got all that space there. So you're not spending all your time trying to crush things down onto a smaller device, you know what I mean? You can put all your development time instead into cool things for the game, new features and things like that, without having to just try and solve the problem of how to get a big thing onto a small thing.
Having ripped itself free from the constraints of the niche rally genre and skillfully manoeuvred into the global spotlight, Evolution is rather enjoying the attention such artistic freedom can generate. And as such, plans are afoot to cast the creative net still wider.
I think we're looking certainly at doing an awful lot more than just a single thing. I mean, we've been practically a single project company of Evolution for a long time. You know, at one point we had WRC going at the same time as Motorstorm was running, but you know, that was an exception at that particular time. But certainly now, where we stand going forward, you know, we're really looking at attacking sort of multiple directions and doing an awful lot of interesting stuff in parallel. You know, doing several projects at once, and you know, the times ahead are certainly very, very interesting for us anyway.
Well, that's about all from us for this week. Thanks for watching.